In this section, we're going to look at some of the features. So one of the features is called AAA authentication process. So AAA stands for Authentications, Authorizations, and Accounting. AAA servers primarily used for device authentication, such as switch, router, access point, etc. Those devices, they can get authenticated from AAA servers. And in AAA services, we are using this kind of protocols like TACAX and Radius for authentication. So these are the most common protocol we are using. And there's a bit of difference between TACAX and Radius. TACAX, mostly this is Cisco proprietary, but Radius is a non-Cisco, that means vendor neutral. So many other non-Cisco device like Microsoft, they can use Radius servers as for their authentication method. TACAX using TCP protocol, Radius using EDP protocol. TACAX Plus provides separate service for authentication, authorizations, and accounting. And Radius combines authentications and authorization functions. Encryptions, TACAX Plus encrypts the entire packet. Radius only encrypts the password. And accounting offers basic functionality, accounting features, and Radius offers robust accounting features. And this is TACAX Plus Cisco proprietary and Radius non-Cisco, that means all the standard other devices, they can use this protocol. Now, so how to configure these things? We can configure these things in the Cisco router. So first thing, we need to have a name for the router. Then we need to have a remote login, which is enable password. Then you can say AAA new model and say AAA authentication login test group TACAX Plus local. So at first, we can enable the AAA services inside the router. Then you can enable authentication. Name is test and saying that our authentication method is going to use TACAX Plus protocol. Then we need to say TACAX servers host. That means this is the TACAX servers or AAA servers, you can say. TACAX servers key, this is the password for that, for this router to log in over there. And then line VTY04, that means whether you configure telnet or SSH. During that time, login authentication test. So you need to use the login authentication method called test. And then we end this one. So that's how we can configure a router to authenticate from AAA servers. So let's have a look how it works. In order to configure AAA servers, we need to have a servers. So let's say in our case, we have these servers. We logged into the servers, we have services, and we find the AAA services and make sure service is on. That's the first thing. After that, we'll be able to register our router in here. And also we'll be able to create username and password for login. I'll close this one. I'll go to my router. Enable config T. The first thing we need to say AAA new model. With this command, we can enable the AAA services inside our router. The next, AAA authentication login, and just need to have any name. Let's say test login. That's my login name, and then say group takax plus local. So we create our login name, AAA authentication login name, and we mention our protocol. And takax server host. So host means who is the takax servers. In our case, it will be 192.168.10.15. And takax server key means password, which is a put Cisco 123. After that, line VTY04. That means when someone try to log in via line, that means logged in via telnet or SSH, they should use line VTY04. Then say login authentication test login. Test login we just configured in here. We just mentioned here when someone try to log in via telnet or SSH, they should use login authentication method called test login. Okay. After that, so the router side we configured. Now this information we need to map inside our servers. So I'll go to my servers. Yeah. In here, AAA. Client name, router 1. Client IP, 192.168.10.10. 10.10 means from this server point of view to logged in over there, this IP address is the router IP. So that's why you put 10.10. Password, Cisco 123, which is this password. And server type, it will be takax plus or takax. Okay, so client name, client IP, secret, protocol, add. So we add our router 1. Same way, you can add router 2. Router 2 will have a different IP address, but only IP name will be router 2, then IP address will be different, router 2 IP address, and then password and protocol will be same. In this way, we can put router 1, router 2, router 3, all the router we can add in here, and then we can create username and password. We can say username Zahid, password Cisco 45, let's say. Right? I can add the user. I can add the user, I can remove the user, I can add more user as well. Let's say Bob, password 46. Add. You can add the password in this way. Okay. After that, with this username and password, we'll be able to log in. Now, we configure our router. Oh, one thing we can see from our router interface is off because we reloaded maybe before some point, that's why. So we just need to turn it up. Exit interface gig 0/1 and say no shut. Interface gig 0/0 and say no shut. With no shutdown command, we can turn up the port. Now ports, they are open. Now let's say once you configure your router and once you configure your servers, after that, we'll be able to log in, we'll be able to telnet our router, but our username and password will be verified from the servers. Now I'll go to my servers. Let's say I create another user, maybe Tom, password Cisco 456, like that, and add. Yeah, with that username, we'll be able to log in. So go to my PC and say telnet, my router IP 192.168.10.10. Hit enter. Username Tom, password Cisco 456, and hit enter. And now you can log in and say enable password was Cisco. Okay, so in this way, using the AAA servers, we can log into our routers. So AAA servers is one of the common things we are using in the industry. If you have more than one router, let's say if you have many routers and switches during the time, if you'd like to log in to each of the devices, and if you have like more than one user, then during that time, you need some sort of servers like AAA servers where you can register multiple routing devices, and also you can create users. Let's see, if you want to remove any user, you can remove as well. If you want to add another person, you can simply add from here. So the actual AAA servers, could be many other features and options will be available. Cool. So that's pretty much about AAA servers.